Tonight is not just another night on the calendar. It's not just the 27th of July. It's a moment carved into eternity. If you've been feeling like your life is drifting, if you've been chasing something that never fills the ache inside, if you've been wondering why everything feels so off, so quiet, so empty, then you're not imagining it. The silence around you is sacred. The struggle within you is sacred. And what happens tonight is not random. There are moments when God disrupts everything quietly. No trumpet, no earthquake, just a shift in the atmosphere so profound your spirit can't ignore it. Tonight is one of those moments. And this message, it's not just information. It's a divine interruption. You were not created to merely survive the chaos of this world. You were chosen for such a time as this. If you're tired of the hookup culture, the shallow promises, the emotional numbness, you're not crazy. You're awakening. You're beginning to feel the weight of what you were actually made for. Purpose, honor, truth. A love that demands your transformation. This is a prophetic moment. Tonight, everything can change. If you listen, if you watch, if you're willing to let go of who you were to become, who you were meant to be. This isn't just a video. This is your wake-up call. You know those nights when everything just goes quiet? I mean, not just around you, but inside you. Like you're sitting on your bed or driving late at night, and the world feels paused. The noise stops. The texts aren't coming in. The notifications dry up. The people who once got you don't seem to understand anymore. And you're left with this aching silence. That kind of silence, it's not empty. Most of us were taught to run from silence, distract ourselves, swipe, Netflix our way through discomfort. But silence, that's where God speaks. That's where transformation begins. Because here's the truth no one wants to admit. Some of the loudest moves God ever makes in your life will happen without a sound. And if you're feeling that right now, like the ground beneath you is shifting, but no one else can see it, you're not crazy. You're not broken. You're awakening. You're finally quiet enough to hear what heaven's been trying to whisper for years. God doesn't always speak in thunder. Sometimes he speaks in stillness. In fact, he waits for the noise to die down so your soul can tune in. It's not punishment, it's invitation. See? Silence isn't always absence. Sometimes silence is preparation. And I get it. Silence can feel like rejection, like you've been forgotten, like your prayers went unanswered or God hit. Do not disturb, but lean in. When God goes silent, he's not gone. He's closer than ever. He's working. You just can't see it yet. Think about the seed in the soil. It doesn't make noise when it's growing roots. No one applauds the process under the surface. But those roots, that's what determines if the tree stands in a storm. So if you're in a season where it feels like nothing is happening, maybe no one's texting back, maybe you're not getting the validation, the job, the relationship, the success, you need to ask a different question. Don't ask, why is nothing happening? Ask, what is God building in the silence? Because he's doing something. Always. This kind of silence, it's strategic. It's a set up, not to break you, but to build you. God is separating you from distractions because he's trying to give you clarity. He's pulling you back not to punish you, but to prepare you. You're not being rejected. You're being refined. And I want to say this directly to the men listening who feel emotionally numb right now. You're not weak for feeling lost. You're not broken for needing meaning. In fact, your hunger for something deeper means you're alive. That ache, it's a signal. It means you were made for more. So sit in the silence. Don't numb it. Don't run from it. Let it speak. Because sometimes the loudest move God will make in your life will sound like absolutely nothing. And if you're wise enough to listen, you'll never be the same. Listen to me. Sometimes God pulls you out of rooms you prayed to be in. He removes people you thought you couldn't live without. He shuts doors that made no sense. And in that moment, it doesn't feel holy. It feels like loss. It feels like abandonment. Like you're being punished. But what if that separation is actually sacred? There's something spiritual happening when your life feels like it's falling apart. And I'm telling you right now, it's not falling apart. It's being restructured. You are being separated to be strengthened, because you can't build spiritual strength in crowded places filled with shallow noise. You need space. You need solitude. And God, in His mercy, will take you out of every situation, every relationship, every addiction, every fake friend circle, and every comfort zone, just to show you what real strength feels like. Not the strength of a gym body, or a bank account, or a flashy dating profile. I'm talking about the kind of strength that can walk through fire and still stand with faith. And I know some of you feel like you've lost everything. The people you trusted, the plans you made, destroyed. She walked away. The career path stalled. It hurts. I get it. But hear me. You had to be separated. Because what God is about to do in your life, He couldn't do it while you were still tangled up in what was draining you. He needed to strip you of everything you thought you needed, so He could show you what you actually need. You thought that relationship was your source. You thought that job was your worth. You thought being wanted was the same as being valuable. But you were wrong. Valuable even if no one sees it yet. Sometimes God hides you to heal you. And that healing, it doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in the cave, the wilderness, the alone seasons. And you are not alone because you failed. You are alone because you are being prepared. You've got to stop interpreting separation as rejection. It's not rejection. It's redirection. It's protection. It's activation. You are not being pushed away. You are being pulled deeper. So lean into the solitude. Trust the pruning. Embrace the break. Because what's coming next is going to require a stronger, wiser, more grounded version of you. And you, my brother, are being forged in this fire. Not to be burned, but to burn brighter. Let's just get real. You think it's just your phone. You think it's just scrolling. Texting you back at 1:43 a.m. But it's not. These distractions that keep pulling you away, they are not random. They're surgical, targeted, designed. And if you don't wake up to that, they will destroy you. See, your purpose has a price tag. The enemy knows that. This world knows that. That's why the moment you start getting serious about your life, serious about healing, serious about growing, serious about becoming a man of value and vision, that's when the distractions multiply. Because distraction is the most effective way to keep a warrior weak. It's not about Netflix. It's not about social media. It's about your spirit. It's about keeping you emotionally numb, spiritually shallow, mentally busy, and relationally empty. The culture you live in doesn't want you to be focused. It wants you entertained. It wants you chasing dopamine instead of discipline, lust instead of love. Think about this every second. You're glued to your screen, chasing shallow validation or false intimacy. That's a second you're not building your future. That's a second you're not stepping into your identity as a man of purpose, presence, and power. And some of you wonder why you feel so broken, why your mind is foggy, why your heart feels numb, why your relationships don't last. It's because you're constantly being pulled into false fires. Fires that burn you but never build you. But here's the truth: you are more powerful than the pull. You have the authority to silence the noise, but it starts with awareness. You've got to see it for what it is. You've got to ask yourself, who benefits from me staying distracted? Who profits from my disconnection, my addiction, my confusion? It's time to reclaim your focus, not just because it's good for you, but because it's critical to your purpose, a legacy, a family, a mission. But you can't do it if your energy is scattered and your mind is hijacked. So today, draw the line. Recognize the war for what it is and make a decision. No more being a passive victim of distraction. You're not just scrolling away time, you're surrendering your future. And that stops now. Let's be honest. You've been running from pain. You've tried drowning it in distractions, numbing it with dopamine, burying it under night texts, empty hookups, and scrolling till 3 a.m. But here's the brutal truth, and I'm telling you this because no one else will. Pain doesn't go away when you ignore it. It just buries itself deeper. And it will wait. It will wait until it owns you. Pain is not your enemy. It's a messenger. That ache in your chest, the restlessness in your gut, the loneliness that hits you when you're surrounded by people. That's not weakness. That's not brokenness. That's a signal. A wake-up call from your soul. It's saying, hey, something's not right. You were made for more than this. And the longer you ignore it, the louder it gets. You think you're weak because you feel it deeply. No, you're human. And pain, when faced, becomes your greatest teacher. Every scar you carry has a lesson written into it. Every tear has a reason behind it. But if you numb it, if you silence it with false peace, you miss the wisdom it was sent to give you. Young man, you're not failing because you feel pain. You fail when you stop listening to it. Because what you run from will chase you. What you numb will control you. But when you face it, when you finally sit with the weight of it, cry if you have to, scream if you must, that's when transformation begins. Pain says, change something. Pain says, leave something. And some of you are stuck in cycles, not because you're incapable, but because you refuse to confront the root. You keep patching symptoms instead of healing causes. You have to go deeper. You have to stop blaming her, blaming them, blaming life, and start owning your healing. You want to be a high-value man. You want to be strong in your spirit, attractive in your purpose, grounded in your identity, then face your pain like a warrior. Not with pride, but with courage. And hear me clearly. Your healing isn't just for you. It's for your future wife, your future children, your future mission. You're not just breaking cycles for you. You're breaking them for generations. But it starts now, with you. Alone, in silence, feeling what you've been avoiding. That's where the healing begins. That's where the fire starts. Listen to me, because this is something most people never hear. And it could change everything for you. You've never fit in because you weren't supposed to. You've always felt different, a little out of place, like you were carrying something the world didn't understand. That's not a flaw. That's not something to be ashamed of. That's calling. That's purpose. That's what it feels like when you've been set apart. I need you to hear this in your gut. You're not broken. You're chosen. And chosen people are rarely comfortable people. You wonder why your relationships feel emptier, why your soul gets quieter in rooms full of noise. You wonder why you can't fake it like everyone else. Why surface level connection makes you sick. It's because there's something deeper inside you. And God has been guarding it, protecting it, keeping it sacred. You were built for something bigger, but big missions come with big opposition. You think the late nights, the heartbreaks, the isolation, the failures, all of that, you think it was random. You think it was punishment. It was training. It was alignment. It was the wilderness that comes before the calling. And some of you are still in that wilderness, still crying out, why am I still alone? Why is nothing working? Because when God sets someone apart, He strips away distractions. He doesn't want a diluted version of you out there chasing trends, faking confidence, settling for meaningless connections. He's trying to bring you back to the raw version of yourself, the man who doesn't need validation, the man who knows his worth without applause. And yeah, that process is brutal. It's confusing. It feels like losing. But that's only because the world doesn't know what it looks like when a man is being refined for greatness. You've got to stop resenting the path just because it's steep. You've got to stop doubting your journey just because it's not loud and visible. Some of the most powerful transformations happen in silence, in hidden places, in secret struggles. You are being set apart because your assignment will demand it. You are not made for average. You are not built for temporary things. The world might not recognize it yet, but heaven already does. So let it hurt. Let it stretch you. Let it break everything that was never meant to stay. Because on the other side of that pain is the man you were always meant to become. And trust me, he's worth every second of this fire. And it doesn't come often. When heaven leans in, when time bends, when what you've been walking through suddenly makes sense. It's that midnight call. And friend, it's coming. You may not hear it with your ears, but your spirit already knows. That tightening in your chest, that restlessness in your soul, that sudden awareness that something is shifting, even if you can't explain it. That's the sound of the midnight call drawing near. All throughout history, God has used the midnight hour, the dark hour, to shift destinies, to break chains, to set His people apart. And you, yes, you are not excluded. You've been wondering why things have been so quiet lately, why doors closed, why relationships crumbled, why your old identity doesn't fit anymore. It's because you've outgrown who you were. You were never meant to stay there. You've been walking through the wilderness, yes. But don't miss this. The wilderness is not the end. It's the preparation for the calling. The men who carry weight in this world, the men who actually lead, who speak truth in boldness, they don't appear out of nowhere. They're refined. They're shaped, not in applause, but in obscurity. You've been hidden for a reason. You've been stripped for a purpose. And now the trumpet is sounding. The midnight call is being released over your life. And the question is not if you're chosen. It's whether you'll answer the call, because it doesn't come dressed in comfort. It comes wrapped in courage. It says, you're not here to blend in. You're here to break cycles. It says, you were born to lead, not follow, to heal, to build, not beg. But to do that, to truly become that man, you must rise now, not tomorrow. Now. Because you're being summoned, not by a trend, not by emotion, by heaven itself. You are the answer to someone's crisis. You are the voice in someone's silence. You are the father, the brother, the king someone else is waiting on. So the final question is, will you rise or will you retreat? Because this is not just a chapter in your story. This is the moment everything changes. If you're still here, if your heart's still pounding, if your spirit's still burning, that's not random. That's not just emotion. That's a divine pull, a summons. That whisper in your soul, that's God saying, this message was for you. You didn't find this video by accident. You were meant to hear this tonight. This moment, this exact second in your life, could be the pivot. The moment where everything before this was the fire, and everything after this becomes the purpose. You are not just surviving. You're not just drifting through this world unnoticed. You are seen. You are known. You are called. But now you have a decision to make. You can scroll on and forget this ever happened. You can go back to numbing, ghosting, blaming, doubting. Can breathe deep and say yes to the man you're being called to become. So here's what I want you to do right now. If this message shook something inside you, if it felt like I was speaking straight into your soul, then don't just sit with it. Respond. Drop a comment below with one word. And hit like, because if you felt it, someone else out there needs to feel it too. Share this with your brother, your friend, your group chat. Someone out there is praying for a word like this. And subscribe, not just to follow this channel, but to join a movement of men waking up to who they really are. This isn't about clicks calling. Because the world doesn't need more silence. It needs voices. It needs men on fire. It needs you. So let's rise together before the next midnight strikes. See you in the comments.